across her nose, not up it.
Sorry, sir. Doing my best.
Who made that man a gunner?
I did, sir. He's my cousin.
Who is he?
He's an asshole, sir.
I know that. What's his name?
That is his name, sir. Asshole. Major asshole.
And his cousin?
He's an asshole, too, sir. Gun is made first class. Philip Asshole.
How many assholes we got on this ship anyhow?
Yo!
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
Hi there. How you sleeping? Good? Gentlemen, listen up, y'all. Here's the new plan. You're gonna start a riot, and we're gonna walk out the front door.
Hey, man. I know guys on crack that makes more sense than you.
Really? Then let me put it to you this way, cuz. Yeah. I don't know how to be. No crib on MTV. God only knows. Got my mini-me in the GP. See how it goes. Evil's all that I see. You ask me my name? G to the Rizzo, E to the Bizzo, I to the Lizzo. I'm a crazy... You all knew that. Austin caught me in the first act. It's all backwards. What's with that? So I'll make a prophecy from the dogs to the mini-me. Give me an Escalade or two-way bling-bling on eBay. Domino. Yeah. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it. Uh-huh. It's for all my homies in Bruges. Cristal, my moto, a couple of bee hutches. Why not? I got a buster move, dropping buster groove, feeling fine. Got an evil crew, gold member crew, lick my 9. Till then I'll on my butt, brains out, put on call and splooge in your app, that's all. For shizzle my nizzle, y'all.
The sound of the cannon.
Attention! On the count of 3. 1.
So it begins.
Such a crick in the neck!
Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
It's showtime.
Everybody comfortable?
Yeah.
Get your motherfucking ass up when I'm talking.
And here we go.
What I wanted to do another stream today, get into more of this Kathleen Kennedy news that I didn't get into the other day, the whole Star Wars Celebration thing. I didn't go through the whole video because there was a lot. They had like four or 5 days worth of celebration in a live stream, which I did not watch. I caught clips of it, snippets, but yeah, a lot of it was cringe. People revealing how little they actually know about Star Wars, including Kathleen Kennedy. Like she's never understood Star Wars at all. but I wanted to get into this article that what you call it, Bounding into Comics. They came on the 8th. Yeah, I guess this was like right at Celebration, right during. Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy recently put out a new spin for Star Wars while trying to hype up new films and television programs. Let me fix this. Put one on. Yeah. I'll put this on this side. That'll work. Speaking with IGN's Alex Stedman during Star Wars Celebration 2023, I wonder if it was that. Are they talking about the girl that asked her, like, what about all these projects that have been shelved? And Kathleen Kennedy got all defensive. She's like, wait, no, nothing's been shelved. No, okay. Production's like a long drawn out process sometimes. Look at her eyes; they're crazy, by the way. I just want to see if there is any major hope that you want to strive for in this kind of new era of Star Wars that you just announced today. And Kennedy's like, it's as I said, I think quality is always everything. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure you thought that when you put out things like Boba Fett and Obi-Wan. Come on. Stop being disingenuous. We want to tell resonating stories that really speak to what Star Wars is. If you knew what Star Wars was, maybe you'd be better at your job. I don't really want it, and none of us want it to become like everything else. So why have you tried to make it like everything else, like homogenize? I don't get it. Why have you made what you called a boy brand, which essentially it is, like more men are into Star Wars than women, and try to make it into a more female centric brand? Like, stop trying to make it into something that it's not. And that's not to say that there haven't been strong female characters at the center of the brand either. Leia is one of the main characters that people love. By the way, I got a statue of her from Bradford Exchange. Wasn't cheap because I freaking love the character, and I loved Carrie Fisher's portrayal of her. And she was one of my favorites in the novels too, and the comics. Like, I would have been pissed off if she passed away in the novel. She never did, by the way. Chewie did, but yeah, and I was pissed off about that. But yeah, to say, like that the people that like Star Wars have been misogynist, have been racist, all this crap is disingenuous. But Disney has been doing this for the past a couple of years with their shows coming out because they're very defensive about these shows because they're bad and they know they're bad. So they gotta spin some kind of narrative to put up a shield. So they're using these diversity hires, these 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 activists to try to shield themselves from criticism, and it hasn't worked. It's backfired. Like, they've lost a lot of their fan base. I think Kathleen Kennedy may recognize that by now. I don't know, or maybe she's just delusional. I don't know why she thinks a Ray movie is a good idea when the the Last Jedi and Rise of Palpatine were rejected by the audience. Like, almost across the board. I mean, Last Jedi was divisive, but pretty much everybody hated the Rise of Palpatine. But let's continue. We want it to be something that continues to live up to the expectation that fans have. Oh, you already shit the bed with that. Like, with the sequel trilogy, there were massive expectations for that. But you couldn't even do the bare minimum. Like, you couldn't bring the three main characters together and have them go on an adventure together. You had to instead subvert expectations and focus on the new characters, and not even do the bare minimum work of developing those characters. Like, the most developed of the characters was Finn, and then you sidelined him in the second and third movie. Like, he was barely there. He had barely any role anymore. Yeah, and that's the most important to all of us. Yeah, right. It's unclear what Kennedy actually means by quality, given her entire tenure as president of Lucasfilm has produced objectively poor quality films and television shows. Anyone can see that. I'm sticking that part in. Anyone can see this. Stupid ads. The biggest black eye is the Rian Johnson directed The Last Jedi. The film has a poor 6.9 weighted average on IMDb. It has even more abysmal 42% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. But look, see how the critics shield for it? 91%, man. Holy shit. You can say it's a good movie, I guess. Like, cinematically, but it's not a good Star Wars movie, in the least. I was one of those people. I was swept up by the cinematography, by the acting, by the action. By the surprises, the subverting expectations. I was swept up by that, and I convinced myself that I really liked this movie. But like in hindsight, uh, I feel like I was fooled by the window dressing. Like Rian Johnson is good at that, the window dressing. Like one of the only movie of his that I've actually seen and liked is Knives Out, but a lot of people do not like that because I'll admit it doesn't make a lot of sense, and there are a lot of contrivances. There's a lot of conveniences in the plot that it just it kind of falls down like a house of cards the more you watch it. Star Wars isn't just getting negative reactions towards its feature films, but its flagship TV series, The Mandalorian, is now receiving the worst user scores it's ever received. The most recent episode, Guns for Hire, well, there's been another one since this article, but yeah, this Guns for Hire episode was the worst rated at 6.5 on IMDb. Featured Lizzo and Jack Black and Christopher Lloyd. Yeah, he forgot to put that in there, but yeah, Lizzo and Jack Black were the main uh the main headline because they're so out of place in this. Christopher Lloyd, I could see working in this, but those two, uh, which I love Jack Black, but his just looks way out of place in this. And Lizzo especially, like, who told her she could act? Like Jack Black can at least act, and Christopher Lloyd is one of my favorite people. But this character he was playing just felt like a Scooby Doo character by the end. It's like he's unmasked. It's so stupid. I showed this clip on another live stream. The clip of her knighting Grogu, so cringe. In fact, the most recent season hasn't just posted the worst score of the entire series, but the three worst rated episodes of the show's entire run. Chapter 19, The Convert, has a weighted average of 7.1, and 17, The Apostate, has a weighted average of 7.5. Oof. And this is by design, despite Kennedy's claim. Stop doing that. She's focusing on quality. Ahead of the release of The Force Awakens, Kennedy made an appearance at Fortune magazine's most powerful women's summit in 2015, where she laid out her plan to fundamentally change Star Wars. Yeah, she's always planned to put women at the center of the Star Wars universe, have it all be all about women. That's why we're getting shows like The Acolyte coming out, and Ahsoka. Ahsoka's like her wet dream from Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni came up with the character, and so they're using her as this vehicle, to have the whole show centered around her. A character who I really like from the Clone Wars and Rebels, but in hindsight, I think she should have died in Order 66. uh It also makes no sense for Anakin to have an apprentice when he was never made a master. Like they allowed him to be on the council, but he still wasn't made a master. Like that none of that lines up with the movies. Like, so George, a lot of times he would go along with things that just did not jive with his movies. Like he contradict himself. So he's not perfect in that way. He didn't like people telling him no. Like, he had a lot of yes men for the prequels around him, but he still wasn't as creatively bankrupt as fucking Kathleen Kennedy. George Lucas is a creative genius, and they should have called him. There's even an interview with her talking about, oh, what we always thought while we were making Force Awakens, like, what would George do? Um, George is still alive. Why don't you fucking call him? And get his advice. Be like, this guy knows Star Wars inside and out like the back of his hand. Why do you not call him and get some insight instead of relying on this upstart Dave Filoni? Who I was mesmerized by at first. Like, I was, the behind the scenes of the Clone Wars. They make you think like, oh, this is George's apprentice. Like, he's gonna take over when George is gone. And then George appointed Kathleen Kennedy as president of Lucasfilm, and then everything started going downhill from there. As soon as they announced the EU novels were no longer like considered canon, like they wouldn't matter at all. Like Disney would come up with their own canon. Right there, some warning bells were going off, but I kind of ignored them, and I just decided, okay, we'll see what they come up with. Like, it ought to be great. And at first, I thought I was. The Force Awakens, I was enamored with that movie. I watched it over and over and over again, and even loved the ending with Luke's reveal. Finally. And then in the Last Jedi, yeah, things just did not go as a lot of us expected. Sometimes you want to follow the tropes. Sometimes you want to give people what they expect. Subverting expectations is not always the best avenue to go down. You're gonna piss people off, man, and they're not gonna come back. And it feels like The Last Jedi was the flashpoint of shitty Star Wars of this timeline. In fact, yeah. During her appearance, Kennedy revealed how quickly she changed the demographics of the company once she took over. The fact that the company was bought by the Walt Disney Company has been amazing because they very much support the fact that we are trying to grow in the workforce a number of women in executive positions and in all positions inside the company. Why don't you worry about so worried about executive positions? Why don't you worry about like custodial positions, networking positions, other things? Why are you so focused on executive positions, Kathy? Should worry about equality all across the board, right? Sewage. Why aren't more women working in sewage and like laying pipes? And this site kind of sucks with all the ads. Oh yeah, here it is. Yeah, yeah. This is where she goes into the other changes they were making. I think the interesting path we've had is the conversation that took place around consumer products because there were a lot of companies that were in place who frankly didn't initially feel that Star Wars was for girls. Well, it I wouldn't say it catered to either boys or girls. It was just kids in general. Like, I remember George saying that this this movie is for 12-year-olds. Like, that's who I'm catering to, 12-year-olds. And the thing is, what are girls mostly into when they're young? Like, what are typical girls mostly into? Uh, it seems like they're mostly into like playing house, playing life, basically. Not so much fantasy, not so much like role play outside of this world that we're living in. That's just a it's just a general statement. Uh, I'm not like being judgmental or misogynist or whatnot. It's just like an observation. It's market research would tell you that like Barbie. Why is Barbie such a freaking popular? product. Why are there so many women right now so excited for this movie coming out? Yeah. And then she says, when do we have a company situation where between Lucasfilm and Disney, we're all looking at the situation and say, no, with Star Wars, we have to change this. We have to make sure that we create products that are, in a sense, appealing to both boys and girls. What's wrong with that? The thing is, you're trying to appeal to girls, and you might turn off the boys. And the girls, they probably still won't come and pay for your shit. And I don't know if she understands this. You try to appeal to one market that would probably not turn out for your product regardless of what you tried to put into it. It'd still be that product. Well, at least a semblance of it. Like she's turned Star Wars into a husk of its former self. But yeah, you turn off the original audience and the audience that you're trying to cater to isn't buying your shit, then you just end up with nobody. Like casuals. Oh, on the toys thing, like the boys when they're young tend to play act like they're adventuring. They're looking for like some kind of power fantasy, and that's why like things like Ninja Turtles, He-Man, GI Joe were also popular because it's these strong male leads that go on these adventures that fight evil. Thundercats. You even have like these diverse groups. It doesn't matter if it's boys and girls in the groups. Like they identify with these characters because they see themselves in these characters, and it's regardless of what they look like either. That's the fun thing about fantasy. Like you could have like strange creatures as the main characters, and people still identify with them. Kathleen Kennedy doesn't understand any of that shit. Like I feel like she should have sat down and talked more with George about like what Star Wars is and what it means to people. I don't know if she would have listened to him, but I don't know. I feel like it would have been productive. Mm. Despite her claim of wanting to appeal to both boys and girls, when asked for an example, it was specifically focused on creating products for females. I mean, even with simple things like T-shirts, there's a fantastic story with this young woman who came to Lucasfilm in 2009. She plays the character of Ahsoka in both Rebels, and she also had a role in Clone Wars. And she came to Lucasfilm. That's Ashley Eckstein she's talking about right there. I don't know why she couldn't come up with her name. And she came to Lucasfilm in 2009 saying, "Why aren't there clothes that are tied to Star Wars for girls?" Well, there are. I have seen them. Like I saw them before Star Wars took over. Like I saw like, you know, pink. Uh, I saw girls wearing Star Wars merch before Disney took over. Like Kathleen Kennedy is rewriting history here, and she struggled for quite a while and put a company together called Her Universe, and it's doing unbelievable business. It's highly unlikely Lucasfilm and Star Wars will start churning out higher quality products. When Kennedy admitted she gutted the company's employees and decided to reshape it in her image. And then, Ray is basically a self insert of Kennedy. So was Jyn Erso. Even though, like Rogue One, Jyn Erso was still like another self insert. Not only did she reshape the company in her image, but she said about drastically altering who the franchise would appeal to drastic results. Given Kennedy is still in charge, it's unlikely her initial vision will ever be changed. And even if she's replaced by one of her disciples, it would just be more of the same or even worse. It's a nightmare inducing picture. Scroll down. The most interesting part of Kennedy's new claim is indeed the fact that she is saying the company needs to focus on quality. A company that is actually producing high quality products would never come out and say such things. Yeah. That's the point I also made when I listened to Bob Iger talk to the shareholders about them refocusing on quality. That tells you right there that they haven't been focusing on quality for who knows how long, for years now, like maybe a decade. Their product speaks for itself, and they are bragging about how good it is. Yeah, yeah. If a company's products were good, they wouldn't have to tell you like their quality. Like they speak for themselves. Exactly. Universal knows that. Let's see an ad for Universal just popped up. They know that. They don't have to. They don't have to come out and say, "Hey, this freaking Wizarding World is like the best freaking park you could ever go to." Like people just know that. Like you could just see the pictures and see the reactions of people going to it. Like people that aren't paid by Universal, people that pay to go there. Instead, Kennedy's out here implying the quality of their product is quite poor. This is a tacit or maybe even subconscious admission that under her leadership, she knows the company has produced extremely poor quality films and TV shows. Maybe. I doubt she's seen them all myself. I feel like she just, lets these guys do what they want. But the notes she gives them is probably like, okay, this female character needs to do this. Like this one needs more agency, that kind of shit. Because with Mando now, it seems like it seems like Bo-Katan is taking over the show. Like she's becoming the actual title character, and and now even Rick Famuyiwa, one of the executive producers on Mando, has come out and said, "Well, has it actually ever been just about Mando? Like, is it actually his show? Like, this title could be just that, a title could be just a what do you call 'em? A mantle. Yeah. Like the title could be referring to someone else entirely, another Mandalorian, like Bo-Katan. So yeah, this is got this has not gone over well either. A lot of people are saying, "Okay, what the hell? We were told this is about Din Djarin. Like this is gonna be his story." Like all the merch that came out for this show with him in his armor, all of it said The Mandalorian. Like that was the name on the box. I got some of that merch, by the way, when it first came out. I got him, and we didn't know his name then, so they just put The Mandalorian under the figure. So you're trying to tell me now that this whole time, this guy wasn't the title character, The Mandalorian. All right, all right. I'm not going to believe you, but okay, yeah. Keep trying to delude yourself.
How about no, you crazy Dutch bastard?
Oh, I didn't even mention Kathleen Kennedy also lied about Kevin Feige not having a Disney Star Wars movie in development. That was a total lie. You can look on YouTube and see clips of Michael Waldron, the writer on that, like talking about how he was working on it for Kevin Feige. And then the Star Wars show on YouTube also covered it. Yeah, Kathleen Kennedy, I think, has been caught in lies a few times. that's why I put it in the title. Kathleen Kennedy died. Kathleen Kennedy, no, she didn't die. I'm not gonna say. Some people probably wish she would, but no. I'm not gonna say that. 'Cause if she left, like, I don't think anything would change. Like there's still her disciples enmeshed in this company. I think it just needs a complete gutting. Bring George Lucas back. Like somebody drag him from the ranch or whatever and get him back over there and try to fix this mess. Maybe retcon the whole thing. Like just act like those sequels never happened. I mean, I know it'd be hard to do. If you're gonna use that de-aging technology or whatever, the CGI, Luke, do CGI Han and Leia as well, and just make the Heir to the Empire trilogy the sequel trilogy. Or we know they're not going to do this because they've made it clear that Mandalorian is leading into the sequel trilogy that they did. Sorry, I'm still sick. But yeah. These people that are deluding themselves, there were people deluding themselves that Disney was going to retcon the sequel trilogy. Like that was retarded, man. Like Mando made it clear that it was leading into sequels. The whole cloning thing, yeah, and the Imperial remnants trying to rise up again. Like it was all leading to the First Order and Snoke. So yeah, but maybe years down the line, if Lucasfilm is just gutted, like I said, and they just say, okay, this sequel trilogy that we did before, this was an abomination. We need to just strike it right from the record, so to speak. It's act like it never happened. We have all this incredible EU material we could be using that Disney threw out when they bought Lucasfilm. I mean, they own it, so they could use it. They've been cherry picking from it. They have Thrawn and Rebels, and now he's going to be in this Ahsoka show. Hey, why don't we just adapt this? Or here's another one. Here's another one. There's a script that Lucas gave Disney. There's a series of scripts he gave them for his own treatment of a sequel trilogy. Well, why don't we use that? Why don't we adapt that? There's an idea. You know, why don't we not be stupid like the people who were in power when they bought Disney, when Disney bought Lucasfilm? Why don't we not be stupid like them and just throw out what he wrote? Why don't we use it? Like he just threw us a bone here. We have a story that we can use. You wanna take a huge chance and make up our own shit on the fly? Like that could have huge repercussions. That could have that could be enormous backlash here. Like I don't know how they couldn't see. They don't watch enough television shows, I guess, or movies to see how this could backfire. That's a quote from Joker I really love. It's like, see what happens when you don't watch enough television. I forget which episode that's from. Oh man, but it's just a clusterfuck. Maybe someday something's gonna give. I'm not holding out hope though. On that note,
Look, this isn't Windex, but it's just as good. It's the store brand.
No, you'd leave a film.
I'm okay with the film. Just use it.
No, I no can clean.
Shit. Hello.
Mr. Daffy.
Oh, yes, sir. Quiet. It's the Emperor.
Oh,
it's the Emperor.
tell him I no can do Friday.
Okay. Sir?
He need to kill he cannot rob me on
hello?
Friday.
I can't hear you. I'm going to the knee pad. I'm going to call you from the knee pad.
I'm in the rain.
What is thy bidding, my master?
Hey, I'm downloading all my music to my iPod because I'm getting rid of my CDs. Do you have any desire for Natalie Merchant's Tiger Lily?
No.
Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill?
No.
You sure? This thing was unstoppable. This was the soundtrack to my 95. To my 95 and my 96, actually.
No, thank you.
Richard Marx, Hold On to the Night?
Yes! Yeah, no, I mean, if you're giving stuff away, yeah, sure.
All right, listen. It turns out Anakin Skywalker's son is still alive. I'm gonna need you to find him and turn him.
Really? Well, maybe I can make him go by, but all the way is gonna be tough.
No, I mean turn him to the dark side.
Well, yeah, I thought that's what you... Oh, of the Force?
Yes.
Oh, I'll get him over to the dark side. I'll just show him our recruiting video.
Thanks to the training I received in the Empire, I have all the skills I need to make it in the real world. The Empire GI Bill helped me finish school. Hey, wait up!
And I met my wife in the service. We had our honeymoon on Alderaan.
Good thing we took pictures, huh?
The Empire. Chasing rebel scum. Killing Luke's aunt and uncle. Telling people to move along. The Empire. Our ships are big triangles.